What is going on, guys? All Gaming with my review of Strike the Blood episode 8, and this episode was pretty freaking amazing. So it starts off with Kojo fighting against Anala, and we see that he had to be saved by Sayaka, and her weapon, it is so freaking hacked. So it has two powers that are very important, and the first one is that it can nullify any physical attack, and that right there is crazy itself. And it could also make a barrier, as we saw when she protected Kojo. It could protect a barrier that can block all attacks, and not only that, it can become more solid than any other object, because we saw that she actually did, hurt the weapon when she cut off one of its legs. But we see that this weapon is really, a powerhouse, because not only can it self-recover, but it can also study the opponent's movements and attack patterns and make counters for it. So when she went to attack it, it actually made a barrier that was like repelling her sword. Because clearly, if it could cut one of his leg in half, if it didn't make that barrier, that right there would have been a wrap. So now that this weapon, now that the weapon had the perfect counter for her sword, she really can't do much. And even Kojo, he's kind of hurt right now. So they're hiding, but the weapon is not really paying them too much attention, because we see that it started like taking off. But of course we have Kojo, which would bring out his lightning familiar and just strike it down. But that right there was definitely a mistake, because not only did the weapon sink to the ground, but it also caved in around them, and they all fell to like some underground mall. And we see that once they're there, it starts leaking. So clearly they have to get out, or otherwise they will drown. But we actually learned something about Sayaka. So at one point she actually trips and falls backwards, and Kojo, you lucky bastards, he was able to feel on her chest. So apparently she had some kind of fear of men, which to me is like really odd. I'm thinking that like maybe something happened in the past that gave her that fear, but it seems that around Kojo, she's not scared at all. So, it's obvious that she's kind of like falling for him. And so now that they're like looking for a way out, because they can see that the weapon is slowly but surely, it's climbing out. And if it gets out while they're underground, then that right there would be horrible. So now, they're walking around and they reach this dead end. And he like think about using his familiar. But of course, if he does use it, then Sayaka, she's going to get fried because of lightning and water. So there it's not going to be good. But when Kojo's staring at her, you can see that the water is making her clothes stick. So he like kind of had like a purr moment right there. And of course, she gets all worked up. But Kojo quickly calms her down and gives her his jacket. So then we have like this nice touchy moment with them, where she kind of like showed her softer side, because she thought that she was big, but Kojo was clearly thinking something perverted, but she meant her height wise. And to be honest, to me, Sayaka doesn't look all that tall. I mean, yeah, she's like taller than Yukina and probably Asagi, but Kojo is right, she does look pretty average. So they bond and become closer, and we can see that she definitely falls for him when she lets him drink her blood. And then we see a new familiar, which is pretty freaking awesome. Now, I thought that Kojo only had 4 familiars, but it's obvious that he has more than that, because this familiar is his 9th one, and I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. It's Nasel Minimum. So it kind of like a dark kind of like Pegasus without the wings, and it has armor. And it looks similar to the one that we saw in the first episode, but clearly, it looks a lot better, and I am definitely digging it. It putting in work. It was, keeping those it was keeping the Nalaquilla at bay till this main one came out. So we learned thanks to Yukina, that had like left the room and was searching on her own, that this guy, Christoph Gardos, not only did he know about this, but he was planning on unleashing a full army of these weapons while he was like in the mother weapon, if that makes sense. And Voltaire didn't even know this, so that right there, really would have been troublesome. So of course, Gardoff wants to kill her, And when they actually go out to the back of the boat, what's his name? What's that boy name? Makodi or Yaze. He actually throws her weapon to Yukina and uses the wind, and that right there was pretty cool actually. And it seems that like he's from some Far East organization, but he also think that right there is also a part of the Lion King. And apparently, like not only can he fight, but he has a harder time because he can only watch. He cannot interfere in fights, which to me is just kind of weird because with his wind powers, he could be a powerful ally. So I wonder why is it that they won't let him fight. But Walter actually, knows about him or knows at least something about him. So once they're back up to the surface, because Kojo did use that new familiar so that they can break out. That's when we see all these weapons like surround them, and I thought that it could be easy, but clearly, that wasn't the case. So now that Yukina and Sayaka, they're with Kojo, they made this powerful barrier that none of these weapons, none of their lasers could penetrate. And that right there was like really freaking cool. I definitely like how they all work together so easily. And now thanks to Asagi, like even though they kind of like took her out, because once she had deciphered the commands, they had captured her again. She actually made this new one, which was so smart of her. This girl is a freaking genius. I don't care what nobody says. If it was not for her, everybody would have been screwed, because these weapons would have kept, repairing no matter what they did. Even Walter was definitely not be able to beat these things, because they just could have would have kept repairing themselves. So really, like our hero here is not really Koja or Yukihina or anybody else. It's Asagi, because of her command. Everybody is still around today. So she made this new command where when they self-prepare themselves, they self-destruct. And to get to there, we see that Sayaka kind of like became a Quincy, because apparently her true weapon, her true form of a sword, it's not even a sword, it's a freaking bow. And the way it looked when she used it, it looked just like a Quincy from Bleach. So that right there, that was like pretty cool. So apparently she shot out this, I believe it was like a screw, but she had used a spell on it to make it into like an arrow. And she shot it into the air, and we just see this huge magic symbol in the sky. And it kind of like, I'm guessing it messed up their functions, but it gave them the chance they need, because once Kristoff saw that the weapon wasn't going to work, he actually got out like a moron, rather than like waiting for it to repair itself. But at least that gave Kojo the chance to like basically uppercut him out, like to knock him out with uppercut. And Yukihina threw her phone in there with the command, and we see that all the weapons are basically destroyed at this point. So now now that that's over, we have Walter that kind of had like this secret plan of his own, and now the Lion King organization, they actually gave him permission to have his own warlord domain. And the person that he said came to give it to him was actually one of the leaders. But if you look at her clothes, she's wearing a school uniform like Yukihino wears. So I'm thinking to myself, is everybody in this organization, so young looking? Because like to me, like even though we couldn't see her face, she looked just like a little kid. So that right there, really had me thinking. But now at the end of episodes, after the credits, this is where things, kind of get, a little bit twisted in a sense. Because we have Asagi waking up in a hospital bed, and she like tricks Kojo, who got her some water, but she wanted him to like look at her earring, and when he leans in, she actually kisses him. And that right there, really surprised me, because I didn't know that Asagi, definitely likes him, but I didn't think that she was gonna kiss him. So that right there was like a shocker, if you ask me. But then we have his sister that came in there, and not only that, we see Yukihina at the door. Now, I'm not sure if she saw that kiss, but she knows something, was definitely up. And of course, it's obvious, she's jealous. And then we have before, she might have been a little jealous when she find out that Kojo had drunk Sayaka blood, but that was the only way for him to control that familiar. And now we are done with this from the Warlord arc, and we're now moving on to the Angel of Flames. So I'm definitely looking forward to the next arc. I did like this one. This arc was freaking amazing. It was a lot better. It was a lot better than the first one. Like, even though these arcs are kind of short because they go by in like a couple of episodes, like by basically, it's 4 episodes each pretty much. But no, the first one, that one was 4, but this one was 5. So maybe they'll get longer. I'm not really sure, but I am liking them a lot. Like I said, this anime is freaking amazing. I definitely like it a lot, and that's why I'm reviewing it for you guys, because I enjoy it, and hopefully, you all get into it and enjoy it as well. But as always, please don't forget to like for this incredible episode, because it really was. And also, if you're new to my channel, please do not forget to subscribe as well, because that really helps me out. But as always, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you all next time.